Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Morning Comic Talk. This is a show where I talk with top indie creators about whatever the heck I think up in the middle of the week. And we have a full house today, as you can see. So we have some new faces and some returning guests. So welcome everybody. And we always start things off with introductions. So Rogo, you are live at a con. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what con you're at in case people want to go check things out.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, I'm Rogo. I am right now at Houston Comic Palooza, downtown Houston, right in the heart of Houston. We are basically just shilling our stuff, all our books. I am an artist and creator for a couple different things. Right now, I'm about to launch something called Hollow Queen, but we also do stuff like How to Hunt a Hero, Malia Mayhem, La Chancla, a bunch of stuff like that. So this is us. Give y'all a little. I think it's this way, right? Yeah. A little shot of our booth out here. But yeah, it's a massive con. But yeah, we've got a ton of projects going up right now.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, and I just got my La Chancla in the mail, so good morning. So, Alan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Alan Carter. I'm an artist and writer of 3 different series: the travel parody Damn Tourist, the science fiction series Cosmic Force, and the comic strip collection on Everyday Expressions called The Figure Speech Mongoose.
All right. And yeah, good stuff. And Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kevin Davis. I'm an author, comic creator, entrepreneur. I have a lot of hats, and I've been talking about Go Giver because I do a lot of stuff. So.
Yes. Honorary cousin Kevin. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. And Benjamin, this is your first time on. Welcome. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I'm Benjamin Hunting. I'm a freelance writer and comic book creator, and I've currently got a book called Dead Air on Kickstarter.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Definitely excited to dig into the campaigns. And if anyone else has a campaign they want to throw in there, go ahead and drop it in the chat. And that makes me remember I have a pre-launch up, so I better do the same thing. But we always start with some topics before we get into our discussion. And this one actually came from the last show that I did because someone was saying they wanted to know opinions on it. And I said, why don't we save that till next week and we can talk about it. So we're going to talk about what is the greatest arcade game. So we're talking not home. It could be something that's on both. Like you could Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, you could play it at home or on the in the arcade. But we're talking about an arcade cabinet that is what you consider your favorite, the best one that you would, waste all your quarters on if you were in an arcade. So Rogo, what would you spend all your quarters on in the arcade?
Probably the floor player mashup like X-Men was one of the ones that we always did. We went to the mall back when we actually had arcades that were just arcade games. It was probably X-Men or maybe The Simpsons. Those 4-player, all your buddies just got together and just spent money like it's crazy.
And those ones just ate your quarters because it's just like, oh, I died. Keep feeding. We got to keep going. We got to get to the end.
Yeah. So, you had to. Yeah, those are
the X-Men. I think X-Men, Simpsons, and then the Ninja Turtles ones. Were those 4 players where you just kept feeding it and
Turtles in Time. Yeah.
Yes, that one was a great one.
What I was going to say, but
that's okay. You can still tell us about why you love it, but yeah, with that one, I know the Simpsons one. I went to they have an arcade in Claremont where you just pay a fee and you get to play the games unlimited. So I finally beat The Simpsons without spending, $50 to do it.
Nice.
So it was nice to finally do it. And I grabbed my 2 kids. I'm like, all right, we gotta do this together. Let's do it. So, you got Marge whipping them with the vacuum and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so yes. So that's a good one. I love those 4-player ones. And those are ones, like you say, good ones to play. You sit there with your friends, just, button mashing and beating all the bad guys.
And X-Men had like that 6-player one too. They had like a dual screen where sometimes you could get 6 players on there.
Yeah. Those are always fun. They were rare to find, especially where I'm from. But yeah, you could. They were great.
Yeah, I don't think I ever played the 6-player one. That's cool. I did the 4. I did that one plenty. It's like I'd always try to snatch up Wolverine and get him for the game. All right, so Kevin, what's your pick on this one?
I actually had a few. When I went to the arcade, I was playing Mortal Kombat, of course, because I'm a fighter
Okay.
gamer. Pac-Man and Super Mario
Mhm.
and X-Men, actually.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, I remember Super Mario was just the greatest thrill when the first Nintendo console came out and you could play Mario at home and it looked as good as the arcade. Because I
Right.
remember I had the first Atari that came out and Pac-Man was square. And it's like, all right, that's bullshit. Pac-Man is not supposed to be square. The sounds didn't match. Bam, 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 bam. And that it was just annoying. And then Mario, you're like, damn, this is a revelation. This thing looks just like the arcade. It feels like I'm standing at that arcade console and I don't have to keep feeding it quarters. I can just keep playing. It was the greatest thing to happen. So I remember that excitement because yeah, the first Atari, all the games you get, it has the same name as the arcade, but look nothing like it because they couldn't do any round stuff in that. So it's like square things and nothing but that. So yeah, Mario was the greatest thing because you could play it in the arcade and then you get it at home and it's just like, wow, it's just like it. This is real. So yeah, that's good stuff. So I know we kind of stole your thunder, Benjamin, but what is it and what made you love that game?
Well, I mean, I've got others. Turtles in Time is great. I
Yeah.
also really love this game called Sega Super GT, which was also known as Scud Racer, I think, in Japan. I wasted so much time on that when I was in just before university.
Yeah.
Iron Man Stewart's Off Road Challenge was another great arcade
Okay.
game where you just keep spinning the wheels round and round, 4-player.
Mhm.
But finally, I'd have to also go with Aliens versus Predator.
Okay.
Because
Good one.
Ooh.
that was a ton of fun in the arcade, and it just didn't translate to consoles. Like, I don't know why, but the port they did was not nearly as fun. But in an arcade, that was a blast to play with friends.
Yeah. Was that a gun one? Was that one of the
No,
shooting
that was
ones?
it was like the Turtles in Time, but you had like
Okay.
you could choose various. You'd have different Predator weapons and whatnot, and go through these super creepy levels, and
Yeah,
it was a blast.
Yeah, like a 2D scroller with like Dutch and some random anime. I don't even know who she was, and could be a predator. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, I never played that. Now I want to find that in
it's
an
worth
arcade
tracking down.
somewhere.
Yeah, but you got to find it in arcade because if you get it on the Nintendo or the Sega, it just wasn't the
Right.
same for some reason.
Okay, so that one was a fail on the console
Yeah.
translation. Yeah, I gotta hunt that down because I mean I love anything Alien and Predator, and I was thinking I know they have one with it's like one of those ones that you would see at Dave and Buster's now, where it's just kind of shoot the gun a lot.
Okay.
But that one I played, but yeah, I'd love the 2D scroller. All right, so Alan, what's your pick on this one, or your picks?
For me, like the single pick, as much as I do like the Konami X-Men side scroller, I like the other X-Men game, the first Capcom fighting game, X-Men Children of the Atom. I played that constantly because I came out right around freshman year in high school. There was
Okay.
the first game where there's a line to get into that game, to get into the arcade to play that game. I waited like at least 40, 45 minutes to play it for the first time. I played it for like maybe 5-6 months to beat it, and then sometimes like just for fun. I mean, it was one of the hardest. Also, the first, like my guy was always Iceman to play it. But I actually did beat him with Magneto. Magneto and Juggernaut were the bosses. Everyone was super hard. Like they were like throw heavy, really like cheap with throws, but it just made you like want to beat the game even more. The exploding
Yeah.
levels, like you drop. That thing was such a and it launched everything else. Marvel superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom. So yeah, it's the first, and it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
did
the
they
artwork.
do that on console? Did they bring it to console, or is it
They did, and it was really, really bad because they
so
put it
another
on-
bad transport?
PlayStation, it was so slow. Like you just could not play it. Saturn was good, but then not anybody had Saturn, and that thing went defunct. But yeah, PlayStation one was horrible. You got to play the arcade.
Okay, yeah. See, that's another one. I want to hunt down an old arcade now, like an old school one, because the Dave and Buster's, they have the games, but then they kind of tweak them and modify them. So even if you're trying to play Pac-Man, it's like a giant Pac-Man in a massive screen, and it's like just give me the old school standard play. That's all I want.
There's the world's largest arcade is in Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, It's where they used to do all of the competitions for high scores and whatnot. They have a Hall of Fame there, and I got a chance to visit it a couple of years ago. And it's literally just like 2 consecutive hangars filled with every game you've ever seen and
hell
games
yes.
you've never heard of. And it's a blast. Like there were so many titles that I had never seen in real life, and you get to actually, unlike most museums, you get to actually interact with what's on display. I
Man.
highly recommend it if you ever get the chance to make it out there.
Okay, yeah. That sounds incredible because, yeah, like you said, just games you've never heard of. And is it just kind of you pay for the admission and you play the games, or do you have to actually drop quarters on
From
it?
what I remember, they have like a token thing, but it's like really permissive.
Okay.
It's pretty affordable, and they have a cool mix of new games too, especially on the pinball side of things. Like they had but I was there when the Jaws Shark Cage game was new. And
Yeah.
they had that in. That was pretty awesome. They had the full setup, but
Nice.
just a really, really well run facility and pretty
Okay.
accessible.
Nice.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to honorable mention would be Dragon's Lair.
Okay.
Oh man, Don Bluth animation.
I
think
loved that.
quarters.
It was a mind-blowing game when we were kids. Like that
It
was like,
was.
seeing that kind of thing. Yeah,
Playing
I think it was on
like playing a
Laserdiscs, too.
cartoon.
Yeah.
I think all the cutscenes were on Laserdiscs, I think, and that
Yeah.
was a brand new
Yeah.
technology. Yeah.
It was amazing, but man,
Mhm.
beautiful animation.
Yes. So my wife has chimed in that she wants to go to the museum. So I think that's good when we're on the same page. Like, all right, we're there.
Nice.
Yeah. So Dragon Slayer, I forgot all about that, and I just remember it was just mind blowing because I mean it was very much just like, okay, move left, but it was all just watching a complete animated movie through your arcade.
And it was one of
dropping
the
the
most
quarters.
It was like $1 to play. I think
It was.
And that was big money back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be like putting a $5 bill in a machine right now.
Yeah.
And I know the one that I loved the most when I was younger was the Tron game because it had choices. You got to move your guy and play all the different levels. And yeah, I mean, you got to shoot the little spiders and you have to go, do the bikes. And I love that one just because of its variety. I mean, you can't go wrong with the old school, just kind of, playing Pac-Man and things like that. But yeah, I think
it's one of the best designed arcade cabinets. I mean, it just looked. I mean, you would see it from a mile away.
it was such a cool looking arcade cabinet.
And the unique the control. Yeah, that thing was awesome.
Yeah, so that one, the little arcade thing in Claremont that I went to, I was passing by the window and that's what I saw in the window. I'm like, damn, they got me. I don't care what it cost me to play for an hour. I'm dropping it just so I can play Tron and actually beat every one of the levels. So it's like, because I would get frustrated, be like, I only got $5 worth of quarters. I can't spend them all on Tron trying to get past all 4 of the spots. But now I was like, you know what? I got an hour. Let's go. And yeah, I think then you go like the next one would be Mortal Kombat. I remember when that came out, and that was, it was the arcade was gone, but they had it at the movie theater. So you'd get into the movie theater and be like, I'm not here to see a movie. I'm just going up to the Mortal Kombat cabinet and I'm gonna, beat it. And it was Scorpion was my guy, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to learn how to do the fatalities. And that's pre-internet, so your friends would have to tell you, oh, for the fatality, this is the sequence, this is the combo that you have to do. So it was all through word of mouth. And then when it hit console, they gave you you could buy those guidebooks to help you learn all the different moves. So that was what I would pick up. But yeah, back then it was easy. Okay, here's what you do, here's how you can get a fatality with this character and that character. So I love that one because it was just the bloodiest thing you've ever seen dropped into an arcade.
Yep. It's funny. Arcades remind me of probably one of the rare few times I actually disobeyed my dad. Like my dad was in the army. Like he's strict, and he was just a grunt through and through. And
Yeah.
we had like this in my small hometown. Like we lived like in a town that had like 3 streets. But
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
like one day they put in I guess like a bar or something with a little arcade in it, and they had Mortal Kombat in there, and it was the only place I could literally walk just down the street and go play it. And my dad, he must have went and he didn't like it or something, and he would always go on, like what they call it, they go to the field basically. They'd be away.
Yeah.
He told me he was like, before he left, he was like, I don't want you going in that place. I do not want you there. I was like, okay, Dad. He left. He's gone for like 2 months. I'm there playing the game, right away almost. He comes back early, didn't tell anybody, comes back early, and he pulls up, and they just happen to have like this open door right where their arcade was. And he pulls up, and I turn around, and he's right there looking at me, and I was like,
Oh, damn.
I'm dead. I was
Busted.
around for like 2 months. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh man! But the
Worth it.
question is, was it worth it?
It was worth it. It was totally worth it. And I did it again after he left.
Oh, that's so funny. You're like, that sucked, but you know what? This arcade is the shit. I'm gonna face the wrath and still get in this arcade.
Worth it.
All right, so yeah, the Virtual Boy. I didn't know they brought that back. That's cool.
A friend of mine had one of those. We picked one up secondhand in like 2002, and it was just like it was an express ticket to a migraine trying to use that thing. We had Mario Tennis, and you could play for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. And I don't know, has anyone here used an original Virtual Boy?
No.
It's like a red on red. There's no color other than red, and it's a fake 3D thing. And there were all these warnings on it, being like, "Don't play for more than 20 minutes at a time, or it will give you a headache and damage your vision." It was the worst possible thing. I have no nostalgia for that console, but they're so rare. Like they're incredibly expensive now if you can find them. The one that we had, what had been in a Blockbuster or something for like test play, so it had this crazy frame around it that supported it, so you didn't have to bend down, so you could put it on like a table and then lean in and like kill your brain cells like 1 minute at a time.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even remember that system. I mean, I remember hearing about it, but I don't think I ever played it because I probably didn't walk into a place that would have had it, like a Toys R Us or something that would have had it on a sample. And with the warnings, Toys R Us probably thinking, yeah, we don't want to get sued for some kid going blind, so we're not going to have that thing as a display.
Yeah, and of course, I didn't follow the rules,
so. So that's why you're wearing glasses today.
Right, exactly.
Both of us. We've been
Exactly.
exposed to the Virtual Boy.
Exactly.
Should have followed the disclaimer, you guys.
But it was worth it, so I don't care.
Much like Rogo, no regrets.
Right.
Exactly. I was like, well, we're rebels, so I'm good. It was worth it.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Puke bucket ready. Yeah, so puke bucket and be ready to stumble around blindly after taking your eyes out of it.
Yeah, you gotta bring a guide dog with you, get back home.
Yes. Well-trained guide dogs included with the purchase.
Yeah.
All right, so this brings it up. This actually, the second topic came up when I was thinking about this arcade, the best arcade console. What is a childhood experience you wish that kids today could experience and, you know, enjoy like we got to do? So Rogo, what's a childhood experience you wish kids could experience today? Kind of like arcades made me think of that, but if it's arcades, fine. But what would be something you wish the kids could experience the same excitement, Rogo?
Well, kind of like the title of your show. Honestly, it's a Saturday morning cartoon experience. For me, growing up, you know, like my friends, my circle of friends, you'd watch cartoons, then you go outside, you get your bikes. I mean, and I know it sounds cliche, like, you know, you see all the memes or whatever that, you know, you left, you didn't come home till the lights came on. But that's what we did. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and, you know, you watch your cartoons, and then, like, right about 11 o'clock is like when, you know, the matinee would come on or something or whatever. And then you just run outside, you jump on your bike, and you're gone. And you're out, and you're just doing all kinds of stuff, you know, almost killing yourselves. I don't know how we survived, but we did. You know, and that's all you did, you know, and I feel like, I mean, I feel like that old man yelling at kids on the, like, get off my lawn, but I'm like, outside, ride your bikes, get into some trouble, but not too much trouble, and have fun, and learn, because I think it really did have a huge impact on me later in life with just the stuff that I now create, you know, the Saturday morning cartoon part of it, and just the adventure, and just that feeling of nostalgia and fun and all that. Yeah, I miss it, but I think kids would, if they still did it, I think there's still a lot of fun to be had, a lot of adventures to be had, all that stuff. I mean, talking like Goonies, kind of fun, you know?
Yeah.
That stuff.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Saturday morning cartoons were just a staple of my existence. And same thing with you. When the live action came on, that's when you had to get out of the house. And it was, for me, it seemed like it was always Soul Train, which teased you because it starts with the animated train and you're like, yes, another cartoon. I don't have to go yet. And then all of a sudden it kicks into them dancing in the studio. Like, damn it, this is not a cartoon.
Or
I
it was like
tricked by it, and I gotta go.
Or it was like a PSA, like some type of like semi-educational thing that would trick you into being like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And then it's like, no, it's time to leave.
The trick was to get out before the mom or dad was like, okay, time to do chores, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
had
Got to
get out
escape.
some time. Yeah. Yep.
Nice. All right. So, Kevin, what about you? What's something you wish the kids today could experience?
Like, I'm kind of the same way with the cartoons, especially when I grew up. My mother had me watch cartoons that was also educational, that taught me how to
Yeah.
read.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically taught me how to speak. So I wish we still have those today, because my sister's a teacher, and I hear so many different stories about kids not being able to do simple things as reading. I wish we still had those type of shows that's on today.
Yeah.
Also, the arcade thing to just to relax and just be a kid and just have fun too.
Yeah.
Have that balance of like get your
Mhm.
education, but also have fun and be a kid.
Yes.
So,
Definitely. All right. So, what about you, Alan? What's your pick on this one?
So this one was actually like recent in the news, so it really brought me back. It was the Pizza Hut dining experience. So
Mm.
they're starting these pizza classic restaurants, but the only one I heard of so far is in North Carolina. So maybe it's just starting on the East Coast.
Okay.
But it's bringing back the classic red roof or brown roof Pizza Huts, dine in. You got the lighting, arcade games, the pizza, obvious. But the one thing that I always remember, the red cups. Those were like
Oh,
the
yeah.
big thing because they totally stood out, and because so many of them are still carry out delivery. And after even during the pandemic, some of the ones that were dine-in, had closed, had issues. So now you don't really have that anymore. So it's cool to bring that back and to have people with their own kids who didn't grow up with that to say, hey, this is how like your mom and dad like will go to get pizza. This is like one of the first big pizza change, and it was just a cool experience. Like I remember like my parents taking me to pizza so many times, like for dinner, even back for like, if you remember like the Book It program, if you read like a bunch of books, like you can get a free personal pan pizza, like all that it's the first like big dine-in pizza experience, because everything else was kind of delivery even at that time. So
Yeah.
having them bring it back was awesome. I just hope they bring some here.
Yeah. Get them into California for sure.
Now, did the one you went to growing up, did it have the little? Ours always had the little like table arcade. It was like a Pac-Man game or a Miss Pac-Man, but it was always just that one little. They didn't have the cabinets, but they did have the little like table ones where they were flat, and it was like you could sit on either side and play it. With players. That's what I remember from that. But yeah, that's a good one, man. That's really good.
Yeah, I loved those, and they're just kind of gone, and it's crazy to think that we grew up and there were the Pizza Huts, and there were so many, just all the pizza places. If you went into a pizza place, it was guaranteed to have at least a little mini arcade attached to it. Even if it was just some, no-name pizza place, you'd get some cool consoles to play. And yeah, just sitting and eating pizza after a baseball game, all right, your team just got done playing the baseball game or the football game, and you go have pizza. And it's like that. You'd be hard-pressed to find a place to take a baseball team to do pizza now. I mean, they exist, but you have to do a lot more searching. So yeah, that's a good one. So what about you, Benjamin? What's your pick on this one?
I wish kids today could experience a life without surveillance. Having every single moment of what they do potentially filmed, videotaped, photographed, and then put online. I think that I can't imagine what my childhood would have been like if I'd had that kind of pressure, knowing that like every single mistake I'm going to make, because you're going to make mistakes when you're a kid, it's going to be amplified and placed in front of an audience of potentially millions. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
like
that's
I never had to worry about that. I got the chance to be a kid, and I think it's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, because the dumb shit that I got into as a kid. I mean, I lived in the desert in the middle of nothing, and we were into some shenanigans. I mean, we were up to some stuff, and luckily no one was there filming it. There's no documentation of it. No. I remember it in my brain, but luckily it's not, forever archived on YouTube,
And that's a huge gift. Like that's an anchor. That is a burden for kids today.
Yeah,
you don't have a clean slate. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, that sucks. I wish the kids could have that. I wish the kids could be kids.
Unless it was that one framework. That really cool trick that nobody believed that you did, or you saw that ghost that you swear you saw and nobody believes you. But
but you could do that though. You could have legends and stuff. Now you can't. Like everyone's got a camera in their pocket. No one believes in Bigfoot, right? Like it's the same kind of deal. So it's fundamentally changed a lot of, I think, how we relate to the world around us.
Yeah. You didn't see a ghost. It was just a shadow. See, look, and it's like,
Yeah.
the mythology of our youth is being stripped away, because that was, I mean, one of the books that I'm currently working on is my friends talking about when me and my friends knew that this house was haunted, and we it was this old abandoned house, and every one of us knew it was haunted, and we all had our story of what we saw that proved the ghosts were real in the house. And now, like you said, like Benjamin's saying, that would all be stripped away. It would be like, oh, see, it was just the sun, how it was reflecting on this or that.
Or they would
That's
just
not
say
a ghost, that's just shadows.
They would just say Pixar, it didn't happen. Like
Mm-hmm.
this shuts down your whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing happened with us. So nothing was filmed. So everything happened. It's
Yes.
all real.
Endless possibility.
I think it's neat that it's kind of universal. How everyone has that story, that ghost story, that one haunted house or that one building or whatever that you I dare you to go into it, blah blah. Yeah, that's great. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, so Joey's saying he bought his first comic in an ice cream shop that had arcade games in the back. I mean, that is the ultimate right there. You can buy your comic books, you can get some ice cream and play video games. I mean, that's where if you get an allowance, you're gonna blow it all in one spot, and that's a beautiful thing. Like, you could take a $5 bill and have the most fulfilling day possible in a place like that. So yes, I miss places like that too. And then payphones. They don't even know. Yeah, it's like, where would Superman change nowadays? He's got nothing. Superman's gonna be stuck having to go like to a gym or something to change. So, and then some gym bro will be filming it. So they're bringing it back to Benjamin's point.
That same arcade that I went to is where I had to go because back in the day, before we had call waiting or whatever the heck it was, 2 lines, multiple lines. You pretty much were kind of like having to wait your turn, especially if you had siblings, to talk on your phone with your friends. So we would have to go down to that same arcade that we weren't supposed to go to, get on the payphone and call your girlfriend or whoever. And you're just there tied to the phone. Of course, you had to beat all the other neighborhood kids there too. So it was an experience.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it's so different. And I guess we look at it with nostalgic glasses, but also kind of, it would be a little better if access wasn't so easy. You have to work for things. Like, you don't just like, here, I want to talk to my friend, like, boom, done. I've had my conversation. Because now they don't have conversations. No one's getting on the phone and talking. It's the texting. And before, like, the times you talk to your friend for 2 hours on the phone and be getting yelled at by your dad, and you're like, there's other people in this house that need to get on the phone, or that's long distance. What the hell are you doing calling that number? Even though it's right across town, it's technically outside of your umbrella of free. So just those little things. And how I still have every one of my friends' numbers memorized. And I couldn't tell you half the people in my contact lists numbers because you call them so often. So it's like those things, they're good. And now all they are is legends that we tell kids, like those fucking old guys talking about that stuff again. But they don't know. It was good.
What's crazy is I don't know if you've ever done this, but you ever try and call your old phone number? Because like I still remember mine. I know my old.
Okay, I do.
Still
I
the
should
same.
try that.
Still the same for my family. Yeah.
Okay, so they kept it.
Yeah, it was still there. Somebody answered, and it was just random, just to see who would answer, see what's going on.
Yeah.
That sounds like the start of like a 6-part Amazon series. Like someone calls like their childhood number, and then they get pulled into this crazy mystery or terror situation.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing! All right, you've just Benjamin's called the copyright on that.
Yeah, I'm
that
pitching
is
that.
a perfect.
It's called
good
Phone
story.
Home.
Phone. Oh, dude, yes. All right, the 5 of us are turning that into something, because that is a freaking amazing concept. Because I still remember I think I had 3 different home numbers, and I remember all of them. Yeah, just call it and see what happens. And now they're gonna you're gonna get someone that calls you back because it has caller ID. Like, what the hell are you calling my number for? Like, dude. Now that there the mystery begins, because you called during a murder or something.
Right.
So damn, we just turned this into something. And then Joey's saying party lines. I do remember those. Like, get your friends on the party line. So good stuff. And then for mine, kind of something that hasn't been mentioned, as a teacher, I remember when I was a kid, when the projector was rolled into the classroom after lunch, and you're like, hell yes, it's movie time. Now my classroom has a TV in the front. there's no excitement if I said, "Oh, we're going to watch a quick video." The anticipation when you see that old ass, the projector sitting in the back of the room, and that at one point during this day the lights are going to go out, and you get to watch that movie on the reels and watch your teacher kind of like connecting that thing. That was the true excitement of a kid's school day. And the kids don't get that, because at any point in time I could bust out a video and pop it on the TV, because the whole thing, they look at the TV all day, they're looking at their screens all day. It's not, all we've done is look at books, and we're going to get to see Jiminy Cricket or Goofy or whatever, because they had those Disney education videos and they were the greatest thing. And you just know, all right, my afternoon's a lot better now because I see that projector in the back of the room.
Or like it could have been a super terrifying bus safety video.
Oh, yes.
Like they used to have back then. I don't know if they're still as horrifically graphic as they were when I was a kid, but like literally people putting pencils through their eyeballs because they were walking down the aisle of the bus, and like the bus breaks. I remember one of them, the bus breaks down and the driver gets out to like flag down help and gets run over, and like there was no punches pulled on these videos. They were just
brutal.
Yeah, and I don't know who approved that for children.
I remember when I was in driver's ed, the red asphalt, and it was the legend. Like when you were a freshman and you knew sophomore year you got to do driver's ed, and they're like, dude, you're gonna see red asphalt, and trust me, it's gonna scar you. So yes, and yeah, the going to the AV room, that's so funny. I forgot about the AV room, and all it was the teacher's lounge. I know that now as a teacher, because we used to wheel in, when I first started, it wasn't the projector, we reeled in the TV cart with the VCR. And that was the kids' anticipation, and they were all just stored in the staff lounge. So
it was funny.
Staff lounge / AV room.
And they would let us pick movies. Like the kids would get their, like it was like your turn to pick the movie. And I remember the team picking in, they bring the VCR, and somebody picked Teen Wolf. Now, mind you, we're like, I don't know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever.
How'd they even have Teen Wolf? Like, why is it there?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
When the coach is telling the story about the guy who gets his thing coming back in here, the teacher was like, "Oh my god!" Like she freaked out and was like, "Oh my god!" Like just turning it off, trying to turn it off, she couldn't turn it off. And, like,
Stop!
And again, I'm way too young to be watching this movie. Whatever.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Why would they have Teen Wolf in the library?
That's so weird.
Such a random thing, because I know when we had the VHS one, it was Draw Squad, and that was what we would do, and the kids would get so excited to do the Draw Squad, and they were so dated even when we were watching them when I started teaching in the early 2000s, because all of his references were to 80s things. He's like, oh, you can make your character's hair wild like Cyndi Lauper. Kids are like, who the heck is he talking about? And it's like, oh, Cyndi Lauper, she was the singer from the 80s who had wild colored hair, and the kids are like, whatever, we're just drawing our 3D building.
That's great, man. Imagine like projecting Cyndi Lauper as a cultural touchstone decades into the future. Like when they were making that video, they're like, "Who's gonna be around forever?" Like,
Cyndi
Lauper,
immortalized through the Draw Squad.
Yeah, she is, but like not in the way that they anticipated, not like universally.
That's funny. All right. So they would turn off the TV and fast forward the VCR to a timestamp. Yeah, we did that, and then Draw Squad. It was always like 3 segments on one cassette, but if another teacher needed volume B, then you'd have to fast forward it to the timestamp. So yeah, I remember that. And now we have, it's Art for Kids Hub. It's just on YouTube, but it's not the same. Like they know, oh, Friday afternoon, he's rolling the cart in and it's Draw Squad time, and we get to draw 3D. And then I feel like a tolerable artist because I'm always drawing with the kids. I'm like, I could be an artist because I can follow directions. I'm not so bad. Mine looks as good as the 5th graders, so it's good. I'm ready.
There you go.
All right. So anything else before we move on? Any other thing you wish the kids could experience today?
Those are the big ones that stuck out of my head.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. So now we're going to talk about not safe for work. So this one is one where it's really, we can even just talk about it. Like, what are your opinions on not safe for work content, and how do you think they should be delivered? We can leave the Kickstarter out of it in this case and just say, what do you think about not safe for work content, and how should it be handled? Because I mean, obviously we don't want our kids getting a hold of that. And just like back in the day when I would go buy my comic books at the 7-Eleven, guess what would be sitting there next to the comic books? The
Yep.
black bagged Playboy. So,
Next to the comic books?
it would be the shelf next to it. It'd be the comic spinner, and then the shelf next to it would have all the magazines,
Wow.
including the ones that kids shouldn't be getting. And
Those ones were always like up at the top, where like theoretically you had to be a really tall kid to reach. When I was young, they were like,
and I was the
in
tall
back.
kid who
You were the
could get
tall
it.
kid. So
I was
did other
the tall
kids,
kid who would try to stealthily get it so me and my friends could get out the door with it.
did other kids hire you as the tall kid to like grab that stuff?
Yeah, they're like, he's the tall one. Get him. Like, befriend that guy so he can reach the Playboys. So let's just talk. What are your thoughts, Roga? What are your thoughts on not safe for work comic books, and how should they be distributed?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to play devil's advocate. I think nowadays, accessibility is so easy. Like if you truly want to get that material, you're gonna get that material.
Yes.
Playboys. My first Playboy wasn't at the local, whatever newspaper stand. It was my dad. I found my dad's copy of his Playboy.
Mm-hmm.
Before I even realized what it was, and before I was even interested in that stuff. But it was there, and then when I did, I had accessibility to it. And if I didn't, one of my friends did.
Yeah.
So I kind of play devil's advocate in that sense. Now, nowadays, modern technology, with what's happening generally, I think it's not a bad idea. Just having that, hey, are you 18? Consent that you're 18. Click the button. And yes, it's kind of a throwaway, but at that point, then it becomes the responsibility of the person that, hey, you made the decision. Or, hey, maybe and I don't want to blame parents, but if your parent didn't put your parental controls, your steps necessary to warn them at least. Even on my stuff, I have something, let's say in my portfolio, right? I have my art portfolio, stuff that I draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get commissions or I get work sometimes where, it's maybe not safe for work, but I put a warning right before it. There's literally a picture of somebody holding a thing saying, this is your warning. Beyond this point, it is not safe for work, or this is considered not for kids. So turn back now or stop now and, move on. That's what, and it helps, and parents are grateful, or maybe somebody that doesn't want to see that has mentioned, hey, thanks for, letting me know or whatever. And that's all.
Yeah.
So on a larger, grander scale, I think that is your safest bet. Just put that on there. Hey, warning, you're being warned, or hey, clicking this button saying, I'm agreeing that I'm 18 years old. I'm look at this, and that's it. And that's the response. That's me. And maybe that's the wrong response, but that's how I'm kind of seeing a solution to this, what's going on in general, without naming.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you, Kevin? What do you think? How should not safe for work content be handled, and what are your thoughts on it overall?
Honestly, I haven't read those type of stories myself, but if it's not safe for work, it would be smart to put a disclaimer, or like let you know this is not for kids. But I was like, I'm playing devil's advocate too, because I know some people are against it and some people like it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, people like what they like, and you can't force nobody to not sell what people like. So I was like, just make sure you're protecting yourself and put the potential buyer, let them know that this is not for kids. So you don't get, so neither side get in trouble. That's my thing on it.
Yeah. What about you, Alan? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with both Rogo and Kevin. I mean, a disclaimer is really the way to go to just monitor this content, because as much as I like the fact of the parents being around for it, a lot of times the parents can't be around, and kids are going to be online. This is really the best way to really monitor the situation. So yeah, I think the disclaimer is basically going to work. I mean, not safe for work material. As an artist, everyone has a different way of creating different different tones. So all should really be accepted as within certain boundaries. But for kids, the disclaimer needs to be there. So it's just pretty simple. Are you 18? Things like that. So that way, if the parent's not around, then they don't end up seeing that something that they shouldn't see.
Yeah. and kids will always find a way, like Rogo was saying. And it wasn't by stealing it from a 7-Eleven. It, like you said, you go to your dad's, my dad's under the bed, he had his hidden. My uncle had him hidden in a bathroom drawer, and I knew all the stash spots. I mean, as a 13-year-old, I could tell you, like, oh, if I go to this uncle or aunt's house, here's where they stash their shit. So you knew where the tapes were hidden, all that stuff. And kids are smart. They remain smart. So if we could figure it out, they can. So yeah, it's one of those things where they can find it, but I think disclaimers, like you said, are a smart way to do it. So what do you think, Benjamin?
I think if no one's being harmed or trafficked in the production of material,
Good point.
and no laws are being broken, I don't think we should be censoring adult expression.
Yeah.
And I think that any turn towards that is a ridiculously slippery slope that eventually ends up enforcing arbitrary morality of whoever's doing the censorship.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That's my take on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like prohibition. Look how well that worked out when they decided we're gonna force our morals on everybody, and then you ended up with crazier things going on, and rising mafia, and a lot more dangerous situation because of that forced morality. So I think you're right. When you try it, it's not going to work, and I think people are always going to pursue that kind of thing. People are going to pursue what's the not safe for work. They always have. That's why I could tell you every family member where they stashed their stuff, because they had it. They were adults. They bought it knowingly, and it was their right to do so. And they didn't hide it very well, but in the end, people are going to buy it. And I think if you give disclaimers, if you turn it almost into like an OnlyFans for comics kind of thing, where you have to show that you're 18 years old, maybe by putting a valid credit card or something like that, it restricts the access to the people who should have it. But if those same adults decide to buy physical media, their kids will find it. It's not going to be that hard. They'll be like, "Ooh, this is the good long box where he keeps the good, the nudie books." So, the kids, we figured it out back then. They'll figure it out now. And they'll figure out the loopholes online too. There's always a way. But I think removing it is the wrong solution. That's the worst possible solution, to say you can't have this, because then here we go, Prohibition 2.0. See how that works out this time.
Yeah, saying no is it's if anything, it just adds more fuel to the curiosity. Like, why are they saying no? Like, what is this? So yeah, they're gonna find a way. Evolve.
All it's going to do is intrigue them more. It's like, ooh, this is forbidden. I want the stuff that I shouldn't have. Because, I did that. My dad, like, you can't watch HBO past this hour. Well, guess what? You're going to fall asleep, dude. And I'll be watching it at that hour. You told me I shouldn't. And I'm going to find out exactly why. He's like, damn, he was right. This is the good stuff. Luckily, my dad falls asleep at 9, and it's summertime. I'll be up till 1 in the morning.
Also, up here in Canada, we have a very different approach to how content is regulated in terms of like nudity, sexuality, violence. We have a concept called the watershed hour. So anything that's broadcast after, I think it's 8 or 9 p.m. now, you're assumed an adult audience. Like, it's assumed that adults are watching. Yeah. And past that point, broadcasters don't have any restrictions.
Yes.
So it's the idea of like this type of art and storytelling is out there, and there's an audience for it, and we're allowing the people in their own homes to decide who's going to be watching.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think there's no easy solution, because the internet it's too big. The thing is, my parents bought it from wherever and hid it, and that was all you needed to do. But now it's broadcast, and you'll be judged by what you do, because people can see, oh, look, you follow this person who has an OnlyFans, and how dare you? And I hate, we're going right back to where Benjamin started us with that discussion. Everything exists, and everybody knows your business, and damn, that sucks, because I like to remain invisible in this world, and it's harder and harder nowadays.
Yeah, I always just use I just read it for the articles. Playboy, man, they have the best articles. Like, oh man,
yes,
intriguing stuff. But no,
Oh, we're losing you.
You're quiet now.
There.
Yeah, we lost your audio for a second.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, but that was pretty much it. I mean, it's just one of those things that's going to happen. And I think as long as we take the necessary steps that we can, with the responsibility where it needs to go,
Yeah.
and then, but yeah, censorship definitely.
It never works. We saw it with, it goes back to prohibition. It goes back to the 80s and early 90s with trying to censor the rap albums with the, let's not let the kids get this. And guess what? I had an my older family friend who bought me all the 2 Live Crew and all the stuff that I shouldn't hear. He was bringing it right home for me. Like, ooh, because they told me, my grandmother would be like, you definitely should never play any of this stuff. And like, you've intrigued me. I must find out more about this 2 Live Crew and why I shouldn't be listening to it.
We can thank 2 Live Crew for a lot of the obscenity protections that art has today, because they were taken to court and they fought that in Florida as far as they could, and were able to carve out the legal protections for First Amendment concerning what they were putting out on records. And that was I believe Luke Skywalker who did that before he had to change his name because George Lucas sued him.
Sued him.
Yeah, Lucas was scarier than the federal and state government, I guess, from a legal perspective. But like the just defending whether you agree with what is in the music or not, those protections exist because someone was willing to stand up for them.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
They did a lot to make it so we could hear a lot of different things that we wouldn't have, because it was getting crazy for a minute.
My dad also told my sister, and it's not me, but he told my sister, don't go watch Predator, Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't even know what that is. And guess what? She went to go watch it because he said, don't go watch it. Didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Went to go watch it. And she was like, I don't know why he didn't want us to watch that. And then, of course, I had to see it.
If you tell a kid there's a movie called Predator, they're going to want to see that movie. It doesn't matter what, just that title is going to pull a kid into the movie theater,
They're intrigued from moment one.
Exactly, exactly.
And they're always intrigued by the one thing you tell them they shouldn't do. And
right.
I was guilty of that. Don't watch HBO past this time. You definitely should never watch that cartoon Heavy Metal. It's not a kid's cartoon. Like, why not? Let me find out more. And
one of the best Yeah.
And then you end up watching too late as a kid, and you watch like Oz or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're just traumatized. Like, you're not prepared for it at all. Like, maybe my parents were right.
My dad was right all along. Damn it. I didn't know. He was protecting me. All right. So we've given our 2 cents on not safe for work, and it's a debate that's going to have no end. And there's no right or wrong answer, but I think there is a wrong answer. Censorship is always the wrong answer. And don't make the new Luke Skywalker, whoever he or she may be, have to battle this in court to give rights to everybody to release their stuff. Because as Anthony was saying in his comment there, if it has a good story and it has, let me see, I'll go back to his comment because now my brain is breaking. But if it has a good story and deep characters, it means something. But honestly, it doesn't have to have that. A lot of them don't. They just have a lot of boobs. And you know what? If that's what people want and that they want to spend their hard-earned money on it, we can't stop them, because they can still go to a 7-Eleven and buy I don't know. Can they go to a 7-Eleven? They can go somewhere and buy a naked magazine.
And we as storytellers are not beholden to the legal responsibility to communicate a moral in our stories. I think that is.
Yeah.
I don't see what that has to do with storytelling. I mean, there's no rigid rule about what I have to tell in a story. It's my decision as a creator, just like it's everyone on the screen's decision as a creator to put what they want in their stories.
Yeah, all those romance novels from the 80s and 90s, they had no story to tell. It was just let's make it a complete turn on for the readers who are reading it. Your 50 Shades of Grey adjacent kind of things that came before it. There was no substance, but they were bestsellers, and they were right there at the front of the grocery stand for anyone to just pick up. And I wouldn't buy them, but there were people who would. And you can't tell people what they can't have, because everyone is a 10-year-old inside their brain, and they'd be like, you can't tell me I can't have that. I'll show you. I'm going to buy 10 of them. So let's head into our next topic. A lot of great points on this one. And now it's time for promotion. So let me grab that. I accidentally moved it higher. So yes, this is what I call the squinty portion because I have terrible vision and I have to squint to see what I'm doing here. And
Too much Virtual Boy, man. It's gonna get
no, yes, too much Virtual Boy. Who knew? All right, so yeah, if there's Joey's saying if there's a market, and
Very
you know,
true, Joey.
let it be sold, because in the end, it's not up to us what people are going to read. And my book may not be for some people, but it will be for others, and it's loaded with a lot of violence. And I had people, the last show that I did, Alan was there as well at the Anacon. I had a few people come to my table and they were just highly offended by the bloody content in my book. And one of them even told me, how could you make something like this for the children? Thinking, all right, well, obviously you're disconnected with the way comics work. Not every comic is meant for children, but in his mind, comics equals kids, and I am a reprehensible human being for trying to sell my garbage to the youth of today. And you know, that's fine. He's allowed to think that, but that doesn't mean because he hates it that I shouldn't be allowed to sell it.
That's right.
100%.
But man, he was so pissed off. He stormed away from my table. I'm like, all right, I guess, you know, if I'm looking to have some edge, I just found my edge, and there you go. Too edgy for that dude at Anacon.
Do you think maybe it was the first time that guy had ever left his house?
I don't know. I think it's the first time he ever went to a Comic-Con, but it was because it was free in a library. And
Oh, there you go. Okay, those two words together, your audience is gonna have people like that in it.
Yeah.
Like you can't control for that at that point.
Oh man, but I generally get yelled at least once at every con I do, and I look forward to it because I'm like, all right, here's my new story for what I can tell. Like one of the first cons I ever did, I got yelled at by this old lady, and it was beautiful, and I love it still. She's like, did you do this yourself? You made this book? Like, yeah, I made this book. Like, you did all the writing, all these words? I said, yeah. She's like, there's so much profanity and blood. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Wow.
So at first I'm like, oh yeah, I did
She's
this.
into it.
I made this. She loves it. And then she's like, you should be ashamed, and I can't believe you would do this. Like, oh, I love it even more now. It's become one of my stories, and thank you, ma'am. You'll never be forgotten.
She's not read books
Yeah,
before.
what a fake out.
Yeah, she obviously hasn't grabbed the ones from the grocery store.
She's reading the wrong Harlequin romances.
Yes. Oh man.
Honestly, though, totally off topic, on topic. I was at a recycling center recently dropping off some furniture, and they had a huge stack of someone had donated romance novels. They have some of the best titles you'll ever see in the world. It's incredible how creative they get, and like also how emotionally manipulative some of those titles are. It's like my billionaire baby's daddy and stuff like that, and like boss for a summer, and it's just. Cowboy Marriage Part 2. It's awesome.
Yes.
Like, I am in awe of whoever gets to decide these titles. I think it's fantastically creative, and I'm jealous of the ideas they come up with.
Yeah, that I want that job. I want to name those adult novels. That sounds amazing.
That's awesome.
Get them stuck on them by the title alone. So all right, I'm going to pull up our first campaign, and that is Skin Shifter. Just give me a second. It's thinking. All right, it is still thinking. Let me try to refresh it. There we go. Now we got Skin Shifter ready. So let me share it. All right, so Skin Shifter, tell us about this story.
So Skin Shifter is my story where it's a jack-o'-bunny demon sent from hell by the Prince of Hell called a Corpus Fiend, going after a regular college girl, Amaya Fitzgerald, who's trying to live her life, keep her grades up and everything. But for some reason, she's being stalked by this jack-o'-bunny, and you're going on this gothic horror, supernatural adventure to figure out what's the connection between her, Sabrina. Well, Sabrina Jackal is the alter ego, human side of Jackal Bunny. So it's like those alter ego type of stories. Like if you like the movie Split, but I'm not doing 24 personalities, so don't worry about that.
That take a long series right there.
That's too much a headache to try to figure out how to map that out in a comic. So I'm not
Yes.
doing that. But if you like a fan of Bray Wyatt from like wrestling, that's kind of like where I got inspired to do this story. And it's based on my novel Jackal Bunny that's on Amazon. So I'm just translating my novel into a comic series. So this is the chapter 1 of Skin Shifter, which is about 30 something pages long.
Okay.
And then next year, I'll actually bring out the graphic novel version, which would be chapter 1 to chapter 6, I believe.
Okay.
Altogether.
Nice.
So this
Sounds
is just
good.
chapter 1, where you get a taste of what this universe is, to see if you want to see the full arc for next year's graphic novel.
Awesome. So link is in the chat, and I will put it. I always do a post after this with all the guests and a link to the YouTube video. And with that, you can go ahead and follow it. It's not anything to purchase yet. And I tell people all the time, follows are free. So definitely follow this project, give it some love, help it get, noticed in the Kickstarter algorithm, and let people know. So I'm going to go to our next one, Squinty 2.0. All right, so next up we have Dead Air. So let me get it up here, and then tell us about Dead Air.
So Dead Air takes place in a world where one day out of the year you can talk to the dead. There's this technology called D-Talk that's been created and commercialized, and you can go to a mall and one day out of the year sit down and have that conversation. But the story itself looks at a group of friends who were college university DJs in the 90s, and then their adult selves 15 years later. And what's tying them together is this tragedy that occurred in their past. One of this group of friends, when she's older, uses this D-Talk technology to reach out to someone she feels guilty about her role in this tragedy. She wants to apologize, and she discovers that what she thought had happened didn't happen at all. And so her and her friends have to figure out how they can make things better, if there's a way for a better future for all of them, and if they can actually save one of their friends that they thought was lost to them. So the story moves back and forth between 90s university radio and this fictional 2011 with this D-Talk technology. So for me, it's a story about friendship and how friendship changes over time and how we change with that when we relate to other people. And my co-creators are Joe Ng, is the artist on this project, Angela Hodge, the designer. Colors are by Maya Opechek, and we have lettering from Lyndon Radchenko on this issue. And you can get the first 3 issues are available on this Kickstarter. We got about 4 days left.
Nice.
So Maya Opechek does my colors for Immortal Era. So
she's awesome. She is
incredible. Amazing. She's my colorist for that. She was the colorist on Floaters. So yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize that we both had her as our colorist. That's so cool.
This is the 3rd project we've done together.
Okay.
She's what's amazing is, so we decided to, in this book, to differentiate the two time eras in the book, we decided to have the 90s be like more bright and vibrant from a color palette perspective, because kind of when you look back on your past and you remember the positive aspects of your past, it's it's not exactly as it was. It's you add a little tinge to it. And then the color palette for the adults, when they're living in reality, it's grayer, it's more muted, they've been beaten down by life a little bit. So she was able to create this book where you can look at any page and just by the color palette tell what time period you're in. And
wow.
It's really her skill level is incredible.
She's so good. Yeah, I mean, you're singing her praises to someone who knows how good.
Everyone should hire Maya.
Yeah, or not, because we need her to finish our project.
There's that too.
Since she's working on 3 of my books and 3 of yours, it's like Maya's our hidden secret. She's all right. Find someone else. Get your own damn colorist, people. All right, but yes, great stuff. I love the art. It looks phenomenal.
Joe's fantastic. He makes everything I do look amazing.
Yeah, and that's what you gotta love. So, let's get that link for everybody. And as I said,
deadaircomic.com, that'll take you there.
Okay, and I'll put the one from the Kickstarter itself as well, and then they'll both be listed on after we get done with the show, when I put it up on my Facebook wall, and that way people can find it there.
Awesome.
But in the meantime, you got it right here. Definitely check it out. I always go in and back everyone who's on the show for at least something. But yeah, this one,
Thank you.
I love the
that.
concept, and everything looks good. And plus, you got Maya. How can I not? That's my girl too. So yes, I will do a quick promo, real quick, of my own. Mine is just in pre-launch as well. She's actually just finishing up the colors for it. So once those are done, we will launch. But let me get him back in the room. Wait, I heard someone beeping in. Hold on. There's Rogo. Hard when you're doing it live, so let me get this up. 1 second. All right, so the last one is my own shameless self-promotion, and that is for Immortal Era number 12. So this is the 12th issue of Immortal Era, which is a story set 200 years in the future where death no longer exists. And it follows a group of heroes who are trying to find a way to bring death back into the world because they know immortality is terrible, and the only way that they can possibly save the world is by killing everyone eventually. So this campaign is going to have issue 12 as well as a trade hardcover and softcover for the book. So yeah, we'll be talking a lot more as we get closer to launch day. But in the meantime, if you could give it a follow, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I haven't been promoting it enough. I set the pre-launch page up, and I'm at the very end of the school year, and it's just a million things to do. So kind of the book's been a secondary thought, but Thursday I'm off, and then it's going to be a new post every day to let people know, because I'm excited about this. A lot of people who've been reading the book have been waiting for the second trade volume. They're kind of the wait for the trade people, and it's here. It'll be ready. And issue 12 for my floppy collectors, it's going to be very, very low print numbers on issue 12. So if you're a collector, you'll like that, because I'm printing just a tiny handful above the amount of the Kickstarter, because once you have the trade, generally that's what people go for. They're not going to say, let me buy all those floppies. So this will be coming out. I'm going to be launching on, I think it's June 13th. Let me double check. So it will be launching, yes, June 12th. I'll be doing a live launch show. So yeah, tune in for that. And if anyone wants to join me on the launch show, if you have something live, it'll be open. So I'll send out invites to that one. But yeah, Immortal Era 12 dropping soon. And that puts us at our halfway point for the series. So I basically blow the world up in issue 12 and watch everything fall back into place for the next 12 issues.
Very cool.
Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you. All right, so I think that is what we have for campaigns. So Alan, you don't have a campaign, but tell us what you'd like to promote.
Sure. So I will be at Seoul Comics Con, SOUL, on June 27th. That's a second-year convention at Leimert Park. It's the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center in Leimert Park. That's from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's free admission. There's going to be at least like 12 vendors, a really small space, but some great creators. I think Scott Shaw, Larry Houston were there before. I believe Scott Shaw is going to be there this year. I'll of course have my books, Damn Tourist, and my Figure Speech Mongoose books. Also, I am a co-host on a new podcast called Pilot Season Cartoon Edition. So each Wednesday night, we review a pilot of each cartoon. So we've done, I believe we did Voltron, we did Transformers, He-Man, Next week we're gonna do DuckTales and Star Wars Clone Wars. So it's a fun show to do every Wednesday night. We'll go live, also YouTube StreamYard, and we'll just review certain like cartoons and we'll give our scores at the end. So it's always
Cool.
like fun to do.
That
That's
sounds
a
like
cool
fun.
idea.
Yeah, I like that. All right. So Rogo, what do you have to promote?
Like you in June, I'm going to be doing my first solo book, creator, artist, all that on this book for a title called Hollow Queen. I'm a huge Halloween fan, and after the success of How to Hunt Hero and Team Strike, it was something that I just wanted to put out there on my own, just trying to tell the story that I've had back in my head. Take that risk and just tell my story. And it's basically about a character. This Hollow Queen character is, whenever the world is thrown off balance, basically evil is rising and there needs to be an answer to it. This character basically comes from the void to fight that evil. And in this incarnation, it's actually going to be an army of Dullahans, or what are more commonly known as Headless Horsemen, but from all different cultures. So you'll have like a Viking Headless Horseman, you'll have a Celtic, you'll have, there's even one from Texas. Every culture, as I studied this, has their own version of a Headless Horseman. It's really neat when you get into the lore and legends and stuff. And it's just something, it's one of my favorite characters in horror. And so I just wanted to do a story about that that I've had since forever. And
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. It's all done. Right now, I'm just waiting to get the Kickstarter approved on it, and then I'm aiming for if you're Halloween, not like I am, there's something called Summerween, where basically we celebrate Halloween like in the middle of the year, just like 4th of July.
Yes.
And it's really big. It's grown more and more every year. I'm sure people that aren't enthusiasts are sick of it, but we're having fun with it. It makes us happy. So I thought it was a perfect time to launch. So I think June 22nd is the official date. So we're going to release that. And I'm really excited. Succeed or fail, it's a story I want to do. I love telling the story. I love telling ghost stories. So I'm excited to have that out there. If you want to check out some of the artwork for it, you can go to my Instagram page, Art by Rogo, art_by_Rogo. You check that out. I'm always promoting it because I just really want this to succeed. I have a ton of artists working on it, like just for extra material, like stickers and prints, interior art. I also have a guy out of Southern California, out of my buddy Jesse, who introduced me to from San Diego Comic-Con. He's doing like a little 12-page origin within that book. Fantastic artwork. He has this beautiful horror style, and I was really lucky to work with him. But yeah, look for that coming next month, probably about the 22nd. You just want something fun. You guys' stories, I have to tell you, man, I'm intrigued. You guys got to follow it because that's really good stuff, man. I'm just listening to your ideas. That's really, really good stuff. So I'll definitely give you guys a follow right now so you this and back this book.
Thank you.
That's really good. But yeah, look for it in June. I'm excited, and good luck to you guys. And I hope you succeed. I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right. Okay, so Kevin, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official, and my business tags are in my bio on there, and Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO.
All right. So Benjamin, where can we find you?
Easiest way is probably benjaminhunting.com. You find all my various writings there. On social media, I'm at Hunting Benjamin. Pretty much just Blue Sky and Instagram at this point.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And Rogo, where can we find you? I know you said your Instagram. Anywhere else online that people can find you?
Yeah, if you want to check out one of my other books, me and my friend published together and I illustrated, it's called How to Hunt Hero. That's on childsplay.com. You just go to that. If you want to see the other book I worked on called Team Strike, that's going to be on Dinosaur Comics with Jesse. We co-wrote that together as high school kids, and we just wanted to put it out there. And he saw what we did with How to Hunt Hero. He's like, hey, what about our story? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it's like on chapter, I don't know, I think 6 right now. He's doing 7 and 8 right now, but it's really neat. It's about us as kids in South Texas. A lot of fun.
Cool.
A lot of really good things.
Yeah, and I just got in there the Child's Play hardcover and then Jesse's book, so Yeah, I've
Thank you for
been
that. Appreciate it.
grabbing those. So, Alan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Blue Sky. Search for Carter Comics. Also, do want to add that on all my social media, I also do a game called Mongoose Mondays. It's the first Monday of every month. It's related to my figure of speech Mongoose comic collection series, where I do a single illustration in color on my social media page for that Monday, and everyone can name what it is. So it's a fun version of my book that people can play online.
Awesome. All right. So you can find me on all things Finish Line Comics. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, it would be appreciated at the Finish Line Comics YouTube. And then on Wednesday, I'll be doing my music show where we talk about an album we've never heard before. And this week we'll be looking at the Meat Puppets. There it is.
Nice.
Meat Puppets 2. I've never heard it. My co-host has never. He suggested this one, so we'll be digging into that one, letting you know our thoughts on the show, first impressions. So until then, have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.
If you missed the live viewing of any Meg production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. Madness Entertainment Group.